You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4 on this Friday afternoon. Hopefully you didn't have any dents in your cars or your property. We're starting with alert day weather conditions.
It's a busy one. We have team coverage for a second round of storms hitting southern Wisconsin right now. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington is tracking those conditions. Our Tanasia Shaw is in Janesville and Ellie LaLiberte is in Evansville. Let's start with the forecast. Alex, what are you looking at so far today?
Brady, Susan, southern Wisconsin, we are not out of the woods yet. We had another ignition of thunderstorms early this afternoon, prompting severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of the area, and there still may be one more round of thunderstorms that could promote large hail and strong winds, mainly south and east of Madison. And those threats, again, wind and hail. We can't rule out an isolated tornado, but that threat is very low. Right now, shower and thunderstorm activity that had prompted severe thunderstorm warnings near the Janesville area into Walworth County has since moved out across Lake Michigan at this point in time. But as we go back and look at the past couple of hours, there you see those severe thunderstorms redeveloping, and we may have one more round, even though you take note at the very end there's one shower just below the Wisconsin-Illinois border between Rockford and Janesville. We are still looking at the potential for ignition of more storms, not in Dane County. I think most of this is going to be off towards the south and towards the east, really eyeing up that Janesville along the I-43 corridor. And this is how that all pans out. Watch what happens here as we head towards 5, 6 o'clock. Here we see over Greene and Rock counties more thunderstorms, possibly supercells. These could be potentially rotating storms capable of producing higher end large hail and damaging winds. Hopefully that is not the case, but we're keeping a very close eye on our Skycam as well in Janesville right now. Nothing, just regular clouds out there right now, but we'll be using the Skycam if needed if additional storms develop this over the course of the next couple hours. So coming up in Maine weather, we will recap the current set of conditions, what we can expect this evening, and then a heads up for a big wet weather system heading towards the area come Easter Sunday.
All right, we will check back in just a minute, Alex. Thank you so much. Let's get to our live reporters now who are in the field. Our Ellie LaLiberte is in Evansville and Tanasia Shaw is in Janesville this afternoon.
We'll start in Janesville where the storms could soon hit. So Tanasia, how are things out there?
Hi, Susan and Brady. As you said, the storms could hit here in Janesville very soon. I am in the downtown area. Just about, I would say, maybe an hour or 30 minutes ago, we saw a heavy downpouring of rain. That's why you see me still with this hoodie and this hat on, even though there is no rain out here right now. But as Alex just said a few minutes ago, we are expecting another round of rain possibly. So, that's what we are expecting in the next coming hours. Earlier today, I did have the opportunity to talk to Rock County Dispatch. They told me that in the city of Janesville, well, outside, I should say, the city of Janesville, they only had one report of any damage. We drove by that area a few times. Actually, thankfully, everything was cleaned up. We even talked to a few residents in the Janesville area and outside of the city. They said that from the earlier storms, there were not any damage. So we're thankful for that. But I will be here in the Janesville area preparing for that next round of storm and letting you know what this area is looking like. I'll be back in the next 30 minutes and throughout all of our evening newscast. Reporting in Janesville, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanasia, thank you. Good to hear there's no damage there in Janesville because the pictures from our viewers of the hail this morning have been incredible. And let's turn now to Evansville. They saw golf ball-sized hail there this morning.
Ellie LaLiberte joins us there now. Ellie, what are you hearing from people there?
Yeah, Brady, Susan, we've been in Evansville since about 10 a.m. this morning. And from the folks we've talked to, they say they've never seen hail like this before. And let me show you why. On the ground here, you can see this indent. That's from where the hail hit. The holes like this are littered across this yard. Now, I spoke with the homeowner a little bit ago. She says that as soon as she heard the hail this morning, she knew there was going to be damage.
It kind of sounded like gunshots going off, and I came from one room and looked out the back patio door, and hail was huge and so loud. Both the dogs took off, and I just started taking video because I was like, well, this will be great for the insurance company to see.
Yeah, and that hail also shattered her windshield of her car, blew debris across her yard, and warped the siding of her house. That damage is something we've seen across Evansville today. We were actually at 2 different car dealerships, both of which tell us that every car on their lot sustained some type of damage. But for now, reporting live in Evansville, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. Our First Warn Weather team will be pushing out updates on the First Warn Weather app. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather.
In other news today, a major story out of the state capitol. The Wisconsin Supreme Court upheld the governor's ability to issue line item vetoes in the state budget.
This is the same provision that allowed Governor Evers to extend school funding 400 years into the future due to some creative vetoing. Political reporter Will Keneally has more on the fallout of this. Will?
Well, a couple of things going on here, literally what it means for the school funding, but also just how much this decision gives power back to the governor. Now, we spoke with a legal expert, Brenna Gadar, about how this could shape those powers going forward. She tells us that she was not necessarily expecting today's results.
I was actually somewhat surprised by the results. During oral argument, a lot of justices, including the liberal-leaning justices, expressed some skepticism about whether this is the direction that this power is meant to go and whether this is the type of thing that was intended under the Wisconsin Constitution.
Now, she says this line item veto in Wisconsin harkens back to how Wisconsin has traditionally passed the state budget, where they might do one agency at a time, so the governor could veto an entire agency, kind of a pseudo line item veto, but now they just pass it in one big bill. Now, again, this is on the power side. On the money side, this will keep that school funding in place for the next 400 years, certainly. But we're also waiting for Republicans in the state legislature to figure out what they're going to do with the budget. They said that they're waiting for this decision today to see how they wanted to move forward. So now ball's in their court. We'll have to wait and see.
Yesterday, we had political analyst Brandon Scholes on, and he was explaining that we're halfway through the budget process. Could this extend it beyond the June deadline?
It very likely could. So Wisconsin, our fiscal year is half year, so it will end the end of June. We haven't seen budgets within the last decade be pushed beyond that. And largely the last time this happened, what kind of held lawmakers' feet to the fire was that school funding. School districts in fall needed to get their budgets done, so they needed to know what money they were getting from the state. With this 400-year funding, that pressure is a little bit off lawmakers. So again, we could see a late budget, certainly, kind of a non-traditional budget. The thing to note here, though, is Wisconsin doesn't shut down if lawmakers don't pass a state budget. It continues funding at the current levels. So you wouldn't see necessarily increases to the state budget. Things would be kind of held status quo.
It's always interesting to learn more about how this process goes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will.
Wisconsin schools will not comply with the Trump administration's request to stop using federal funds for diversity efforts. Earlier this month, the Department of Education sent letters to state education heads demanding they comply with the Supreme Court's decision to end affirmative action or lose federal money. Today, State Superintendent Jill Underly submitted her final response to the Education Department's request, with signed assurances from local agencies stating they already comply with federal laws. She requested the Trump administration provide a legal explanation if these assurances aren't enough to meet its conditions and Wisconsin schools lose federal money.
Still to come today on Live at 4, our First Warn Weather team will tell us what you can expect with storms later this evening and into the Easter holiday weekend as well.
Plus, we share an update on the status of the people hurt in the mass shooting at Florida State University.
Doctors in Tallahassee say all 6 people who were hurt in yesterday's mass shooting at Florida State University will make full recoveries. Today, students didn't have class after a 20-year-old student who is the son of a local law enforcement officer opened fire on campus. He killed 2 people. The status of the suspect, who police said was also in the hospital, is unknown.
And in a breaking update on the status of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man mistakenly deported from the U.S. last month, Senator Chris Van Hollen is back in the U.S. today after visiting Abrego Garcia and has just provided an update on his well-being. The senator says Abrego Garcia has been transferred to a different facility and is no longer in the notorious El Salvador prison. He still has no ability to communicate with anyone outside of his detention center in Santa Ana. Despite court orders for the Trump Trump administration to facilitate his return. The White House says Abrego Garcia will never return to the U.S. Well, all throughout the day, you've been sending us photos of the hail damage from the storms today, and these images are coming from Linda in Platteville. And we also have these pictures from Dawn in Whitewater. Check it out. Well, this shows the aftermath of this morning's storms. Thank you, everyone, for sending these in to us, and please keep sending them to tips@channel3000.com. I can't believe the size of that hail. And let's get a look at what's coming up in your first warn forecast. Alex Harrington is back with us. Alex?
Brady, Susan, southern Wisconsin, we're not completely out of the woods yet. We still have one more round of thunderstorms that likely is going to form this evening for areas near Janesville and points off towards the south and east. Large hail, strong winds would be the main threats from these thunderstorms as we carry forth through the next couple of hours. We can't rule out an isolated tornado. I hope that's not the case, but large hail and damaging winds would be the main threats. Those storms right now have moved out over portions of Lake Michigan, but that certainly wasn't the case just a couple of hours ago. We had those storms coming up. There they go through Janesville. This was a little bit earlier eruption of thunderstorms than what we were thinking would happen, but we still have that additional round yet across southern Wisconsin. We can see that with future track. Look what happens here as we head a little bit later into the evening, unless things have updated, which would be certainly good news. Actually, my future track, oh, there we go. These are those thunderstorms I expect to form by the time we get to 5:30, 6 o'clock, right near Janesville, Beloit, over towards Elkhorn. We'll let that run again here so you can see that very clearly, that one more round of storms is expected here as we go. This is that round we saw earlier. As we head towards 5, 6 o'clock, we'll be seeing that next batch of thunderstorms very likely form it again. All hazards are possible with this line of thunderstorms. Another reason why our atmospheric energy, this is the fuel for thunderstorms, is very high from Madison and points off towards Janesville, right up here high on the spectrum, meaning there's energy there to be released. And as we look at our first warn weather cam right now here in Janesville as part of our network of sky cams that keep you safe in southern Wisconsin, we just see cloudy conditions out there right now, but I do anticipate that to change. Just the sheer amount of warnings that we had this morning, unprecedented with that large hail that you just saw those pictures. I also wanted to call out last night, my Facebook, Channel 3000's Facebook, we were putting forth messages that we expected between 5 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock in the morning hail. Certainly not the hail that we saw, but we were first to let you know that this potential was there, and unfortunately it did verify with pictures like you were seeing earlier in this 2-inch diameter hailstone here sent to us from Evansville. You can scan the QR code if you want to still send us your pictures, but I want to underline, only do this when it's safe. Don't go outside during the storm. Wait till that storm has passed, and then if you want to send us your photos and your damaged photos, we're happy to have them. Now fast forward to the weekend here, 57 on Sunday, or Saturday rather. That's going to be the pick of the two for this weekend, and then 51 as we go on into Sunday. Winds are going to get pretty gusty out of the east and southeast, up to 35 miles per hour. We're going to be seeing rain develop on Easter Sunday. Very high chances. It looks like a washout by the time we get into the afternoon hours, extending into the evening hours of Sunday. Here's a glimpse of how much water we could still expect with that weather system. 1 to 1.5 inches of water. We'll certainly take those drops because parts of southern Wisconsin still reeling with drought conditions from an extended period of dry weather that lasted all the way, or I should say started rather, last year. And as we look further into the future, here's some good news. It's been very busy today. Unfortunately, we had damage today. Unfortunately, Easter Sunday is looking like a washout. But as we extend out further into the future here, look at our temperatures, upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. I like to impart a little bit of optimism when I can, so that's something to look forward to. But myself and Blaze will be keeping an eye on radar very closely as we anticipate one more round of storms, particularly near the Janesville area here within the next couple of hours.
What a way to end the work week. Thank you, Alex. In the 608, the Badger football team is gearing up to show off to fans this weekend, and it's for a spring showcase.
Our Josh Spreiter is at Camp Randall with a preview.
Well, the Badgers are back in action for the Wisconsin Football Spring Showcase here at Camp Randall tomorrow. We wanted to get a preview of what fans can expect. Patrick Herb of Wisconsin Athletics is joining us. Patrick, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for being here.
You know, this is such a special opportunity for fans to get an early look at what the Badger season is going to look like later here in 2025.
Yeah, our Spring Showcase is an open practice, if you will, an open scrimmage for fans to come in and, like you said, get to know the team, some of the new faces, some of the young guys that are taking bigger roles. And it's a family-friendly event where we want to open our doors and connect with the community on some level and also kind of show off what this team's been working on.
You know, this is a unique opportunity that a lot of other teams don't do for their fans.
Yeah, in reality, we're in an era right now of college athletics where with transferring and all of these different things that are happening in terms of roster management, that a lot of schools are canceling their spring games. I think they're afraid to show off their team to other schools and afraid their players will get poached. Luke Fickell's got a different approach. It's important to him that this team connects with the community and also that the team gets to have competition in front of a live audience.
What's timing going to look like Saturday for folks interested in bringing the family out?
Yeah, starting at 11 a.m., we have a Kohl's Kids Combine where in the McLean Center attached to here, kids can run through obstacle courses and do football drills and get exposed to kind of the sport at 12 and under. Then at noon, we'll have our spring scrimmage will begin here in the stadium. I think it'll last about 2 hours. And afterwards, we're inviting everybody here to come down on the field after, take photos on the field, meet the team, say hello to some of the guys, and just get to experience what it's like to be on the Camp Randall turf and in this historic stadium. So season ticket holders get free tickets for it. 12 and under are free. Students on campus are free. For everybody else, $5 ticket, but it's a donation to the Military Appreciation Fund that we have here on campus to help get military veterans access to free tickets to our event. But hopefully fans will get to enjoy spring football when they're not necessarily thinking about it. We're thinking about it all year round.
I love it. All right, Patrick, thanks for getting us into Camp Randall. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
And if you'd like to learn more about the Wisconsin Football Spring Showcase, just go to the story up on channel3000.com. At Camp Randall, I'm Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh. Coming up, it might not seem like it today, but warmer weather is here, and for many Wisconsinites, that means more social drinking.
But it doesn't have to. When we come back, the founder of Sober Social in Middleton stops by. She's going to share her story and offer advice to those looking for alternatives to alcohol this spring. Plus, we're going to make a mocktail here on Live at 4. Stay with us. Well, Easter is quickly approaching, and as with any festive event, it can be challenging to say no to alcohol if you're someone who is on the path to sobriety.
Christy Tanner knows that well, and last year she opened Sober Social in Middleton, a store that offers a variety of beer, wine, cocktails, and other beverages, all alcohol-free. She's here with us right now. Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Christy, thank you for coming.
Yes.
And a little later in the show, we're going to be making a delicious mocktail that we'll
Yes.
share the recipe for with you in a little bit.
Well, when you opened up your store, first of all, how are things going and how much fun are you having?
Oh my gosh, it is the best thing I've ever done. You know, if you've ever wanted to do something and you're really passionate about it, even if you don't have a background, no business background, I'm a single mom of 4, I care so much about this space. And the people I thought I was gonna serve, it's such a bigger net than even that. It has been such a gift to be a part of people's stories, to give them somewhere to celebrate, and to give a way for everybody to be included at all these special occasions, like Easter. If you're having a mimosa, get a non-alcoholic sparkling and allow everyone to partake.
Yeah.
The thing that's so wonderful about what you've done is you've taken your own personal experience and you're paying it forward for other people, and you're ending the shame in the process that people feel about sobriety and struggling with sobriety. Sober Social will mark a year this July. And that marks a special anniversary for you.
Yes, it will be my 6 years sober.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And this was truly born out of, I got sober. I was a young mom of 4 kids going through a divorce. I turned to alcohol for all the things, and I really needed help. And when I got the help, I was like, great, now I'm sober, but I'm scared. Who are my friends? Where can I go? How do I be a part of this society that is so soaked in alcohol?
Yeah, because it's not just the drinking, it's the social component.
That's right.
Drinking is social.
That's right. And it's funny, the opposite of sobriety the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection.
Oh, I love
and that is what Sober Social is offering. A place for you to go and connect, a place for you to have these options that allow you to be included.
Well, and for people who are out there and maybe they've tried NA alternatives, sometimes they don't taste great, but you you have some fun things that you've let me sample when I did a story with you, and they're pretty good.
Yeah. We have some, so we have a lot of stuff to offer in this space. It's grown a ton in the last few years. So we have non-alcoholic beer, wine, champagne. We also have things that are meant to taste like a spirit, a true tequila replacement. We also have things called functional beverages and things called liquid botanicals, which we're going to be using later when we make our watermelon lime margarita. It's a true 0-0, and sometimes those are easier to start with because they are not meant to taste like an alcohol. It gives you an elevated cocktail experience without that familiar taste of an alcohol.
Let everyone know where Sober Social is.
Yes, we are located downtown Middleton, 1814 Parmenter, kind of right across from the Mustard Museum. And it's really cute. It's very vibrant and loud and happy, and we would love to have everybody by.
Well, thank you for stopping by, and we will see you later on in the show. You have a great setup for us.
She's going to get mixing.
Yes, our mixologist. Well, if you are struggling with alcohol addiction or think you're just drinking too much, you can call the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration at 1-800-662-HELP, and you can also call 988.
When we come back, still ahead on Live at 4, our team coverage of Alert Day conditions continues.
And we'll hear from one woman about what she saw this morning in Evansville.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
The weather continues to be our top story on this Friday afternoon. We're continuing team coverage of Alert Day conditions.
Our Ellie La Liberté is in Evansville. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington is tracking those Alert Day conditions, and we'll start here with Alex. Alex?
We had some severe thunderstorms redevelop this afternoon down near the Janesville and Walworth County area. And we're watching, we believe, the first round weather team. One more round of thunderstorms is expected as we go into the early evening hours. Large hail and strong winds would be the main threats if we do get any additional thunderstorms to form here. Radar 3000 right now, it's pretty much high and dry. All those showers and storms, the storms that recently were severe near the Janesville area over towards the Elkhorn area have since way gone out over Lake Michigan. But what we're watching for is between Janesville and Rockford, the potential for the redevelopment of thunderstorms. Some of those could be severe. Let's watch this here as we go to 5:30. Here we go. A couple of cells popping up right over Janesville, rapidly intensifying and then quickly moving over to the Milwaukee area as we head towards 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So this is a very narrow window of where we could see that redevelopment of thunderstorms, primarily again near the Janesville area, let's say up towards Jefferson and then over towards Elkhorn. It's just a very small part of the WISC viewing area. Can't rule out an isolated shower or storm north and west of US Highway 151, but the first one weather team are keeping our very close eye in here in Janesville. Of course, we have our sky cams focused right now looking to the west-southwest where we would see if we do get redevelopment of thunderstorms. We have Tanasia Shaw and Janesville as well. Right now, just cloudy skies, but that could certainly change very, very rapidly, just as quickly as it did this afternoon where we went from nothing to severe thunderstorms within just a couple of minutes. Coming up in Maine weather, we'll do a recap again. I want to just keep everybody informed and keep a close look at Radar 3000 to see if anything pops up between now and the next few minutes here before I come back for Maine weather. And then we'll also give you a heads up on a washout, unfortunately, for Easter Sunday. But the silver lining is we need that water with drought conditions.
All right, Alex, thank you. Let's turn now to Evansville. Folks there saw golf ball-sized hail this morning.
We've seen quite the photos. Ellie La Liberté joins us there from now with a closer look at what people are dealing with there. Ellie?
Yeah, hey, Brady and Susan. Evansville certainly seeing a lot of damage here today. The west side of town seeing the brunt of it, and here's the evidence of it. You can see these twigs on the ground from the trees above me just littering this street here. Like you said, those golf ball size pieces of hail that even lifelong Evansville residents say they've never seen before.
But as soon as I came through the town, it got worse and worse. They got bigger and bigger. Phil, my husband's granddaughter, they got 2 of their cars got damaged. All the windows are all taken out, and then they think they're going to probably get totaled out.
Yeah, and cars have also seen a lot of damage here. We were at 2 different dealerships earlier this morning. Both tell me that nearly every car on their lot has seen some type of damage. Now, also, people's personal cars have seen a lot of damage as well. You can see the car over my shoulder here covered by a tarp. It's because the hail hit that windshield and it could possibly be opened up to possible rain coming in. We've also seen cars getting towed away and, of course, tons of contractors here in Evansville today. So I'll send it back to you guys. But for now, reporting live in Evansville, Ellie Liberté, News 3 Now.
Boy, it was something. We haven't seen a storm like that in quite a while. Ellie, thank you. And our First Warn weather team will be pushing out updates, as Alex was saying, every hour. They'll help you track the forecast for yourself with our First Warn weather app. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, the NFL draft gets underway in less than a week in Green Bay.
Jason Wilde will tell us why it's such a big deal for Wisconsin when Live at 4 returns.
And like we said, of winning all the time, because it makes your job harder as a general manager to draft one. Hey.
Well, we are taking a live look at the Resch Expo in Green Bay. It looks like we're kind of getting ready there.
Yep, there's a little something going on.
Yeah.
It's very, very exciting for Wisconsin. We're less than a week away from the start of the NFL draft.
And we're talking with our Packers contributor, Jason Wilde, about how big of a deal this is for Green Bay. Well, Jason, the Packers took an offensive lineman in the first round of last year's draft. They wouldn't do that again, would they, 2 years in a row?
No. Oh, they very well might, Brady. And here's the thing. They're in a really interesting position on the offensive line because they have 3 players, Zach Tom, Sean Ryan, and Rasheed Walker, who are all entering the final years of their rookie contracts. And they're not going to sign all 3. They drafted Jordan Morgan in the first round last year out of Arizona. They're picking around the same area this year. They're the 23rd pick. Back in 2010, they drafted an Iowa offensive lineman at number 23 named Brian Bulaga. And then in 2011, they drafted another offensive lineman. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but as we've talked about throughout the week, they do have other needs as well. So there's a lot of ways they could go.
So they have 8 picks overall right now in the draft, right? How many do you think they'll ultimately end up making?
Yeah, that's a good question, Susan, because Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, this will be his 8th draft. 4 of his first 7 drafts, he had at least double digits in terms of picks. Last year he had 13. So he has said publicly he wants more than the 8 picks they've got. If I were to hazard a guess, he'll trade back probably a couple times to accumulate extra picks, probably around 10. He'll get to that double digit factor once again.
And since you're the expert, so the Packers seem to always pick in the 20s in their first round. So I guess the drawback to making the playoffs just about every year. So what are the chances of getting an impact player at number 23?
The fact of the matter is that is the drawback, like you said, of winning all the time, is it makes your job harder as a general manager to draft well. Hey, it's easy to get it right if you're picking in the top 5 or the top 10. And a lot of times people still get it wrong, right? Teams make mistakes in the top 10 all the time, but it gets even harder when you're picking in the 20s every year. Now, they picked Jordan Love at number 26 in 2020. They picked Aaron Rodgers at number 24 in 2005. So they can find those types of players. And if they get a little bit lucky and let them sit for a while, they become franchise quarterbacks. But there's no question, Brady, this is a challenging spot to pick in. The thing I'm most curious about is if there is some sort of a ledge where Brian Gutekunst gets to number 23 and he doesn't have anybody on his board that he really thinks is worthy of a first-round pick. Is that one of the spots where he could trade back, accumulate some extra picks, have a team that's desperate to get up to 23 to get a specific player that they like? That's one of the places where there could be some intrigue on Thursday night.
Everybody is so excited about this. Why is this such a big deal for Green Bay to have the draft in Wisconsin?
This is something so special for such a small market. Mark Murphy talked about the fact that they're never going to get a Super Bowl here. They don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the weather, and they don't have the hotel rooms. I think what's going to be most interesting about this is it's going to be more of an intimate setting. If you can have an intimacy when there's 250,000 people in a small town like Green Bay, It's going to be a different vibe than there was in Detroit last year when they had 775 people come through, 775,000 people come through during the course of those 3 days. 250, maybe that's a little more manageable over a 3-day span, but I can't wait to be both frustrated in traffic and see Green Bay shine on the national stage.
Better pack yourself some snacks for when you're stuck in the car.
I will definitely do that. I got 2 girls that are always snacking on the go, so I've always got snacks.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. And don't forget, News 3 Now will be talking about the draft all next week. Jason will lead our team coverage with Eric, Zach, and Andrew leading up to the NFL draft.
It'll be a fun and exciting time. When we're back, Alex has your Easter forecast.
We want to thank everybody for just the incredible pictures and videos we've been receiving of the hail this morning. This video was what it looked like earlier today in Evansville.
Yeah, you can hear the click, 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 and we've seen some photos of it being pretty large. It can really do some damage out there. Let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us now.
And I'm going to show you how some of that hail formed. Unprecedented intensity in a thunderstorm to have hailstones that large being lofted so high into that storm and then making its way to the ground. We're still not out of the woods yet. Far southeastern parts of the WISC viewing area still could yet see a thunderstorm with damaging winds and large hail. We can't rule out a tornado. The threat is not zero, but that's not the highest threat. What I'm watching here is we look at radar 3000. If you take note right here, right along I-94 right now, there's a little boundary. This is a little outflow boundary. It's hard to see. It's rain-cooled air that's moving towards the south, and we've got a very humid air mass just to the south from Monroe over to Janesville. I'm going to be watching this line because we're expecting one more line of thunderstorms to form as we see with Future Track here. Watch near Monroe around 5:30. More thunderstorms popping up, moving through the Janesville area, strengthening, and then heading off towards the Milwaukee metropolitan area. It's that last line that's between about 5:30 and 7 p.m. that the First Warn Weather Team are keeping a close eye on for the potential of redevelopment. What you're seeing here is all this yellow. That's high atmospheric energy, meaning that's the fuel for more thunderstorms to redevelop. And it's there, provided we can get that to lift. And hopefully we don't get it to lift, and hopefully it stays off to the south and towards the east. Right now, our Janesville Nissan Skycam is part of our First Warn Weather Cam network, where we can show you what's going on with the weather. Just cloudy skies out there right now, and hopefully it just stays cloudy, and hopefully these storms don't reform. But how did this happen? Well, you have an updraft. That updraft brings warm, humid air. Starting off as rain, it lifts high up into the cumulonimbus cloud, the thunderstorm. In this case, we had some rotation in these thunderstorms that helps to keep those raindrops aloft. Tremendous amount of wind energy. So it freezes, and then it blows higher up into the sky, and it refreezes and refreezes and refreezes until it gets so heavy it just can't stay aloft anymore, and then it falls down to the ground in those big hailstones that we saw this morning. So you have to have a really incredible updraft and a really incredible supercellular-like structure to have hailstones that large being lofted into the sky and then making it to the ground. Good news is, once we get past about 7 o'clock tonight, we got a 5-7, a nice quiet day on Saturday. Easter Sunday, 51, we're going to have to track some showers moving into the area. Here are those showers stretching from, let's say I-94 over towards Dodgeville as we head towards 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a little bit later, so you may be able to get that Easter brunch, some outdoor activities in with some sprinkles in the morning before that rain takes over. And it's going to be heavy at times, strong east wind Sunday evening, maybe a couple of thunderstorms as this area of low pressure moves really right over southern Wisconsin as we go into Monday. Still at noon, areas of showers, of maybe a clap of thunder. Join me at 5 o'clock. I'll let you know just how much water as an update we can expect with this weather system, which we most certainly will take because we still have drought conditions across parts of the area. So happy Easter. The happiest part of Easter is going to be in the morning hours before that rain gets started. I think it's going to start a little later, which is good news. It lasts through Monday. And look at these temperatures as we head out through the rest of the 10-day period. Of course, we have the NFL draft on Thursday, and conditions are looking nice. Could have a couple of isolated showers, but overall, those temperatures improved. Much improved forecast compared to where we have been over the course of the past 24 hours. We'll be right back.
Well, whether you're getting sober or you're just trying to cut back a little bit on alcohol, non-alcoholic drinks are really having a moment.
Yeah, the rise of the mocktail,
Yeah.
we'll say. Christy Tanner, the founder of Sober Social Middleton, is back with us to share a special mocktail recipe, and we have some fun things out here.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are we making?
Okay. So we are making the perfect springtime mocktail. This is a watermelon lime margarita. It is made with amethyst, which is a liquid botanical. It's a true 0-0 product, so it was never made into alcohol. However, it's got things like a Szechuan pepper extract in it, so it gives you that little burn on the back of your throat, kind of like an alcohol does. So it's a really an elevated non-alcoholic margarita, and it's amazing.
Okay.
And you won't miss the alcohol. So really simple to make. I'm not a trained bartender. I mean, I was 20 years ago, but that was 20 years ago. So it's really simple. It's just amethyst, watermelon juice, lime juice, and simple syrup.
Are we mixing it all into our little shaker?
We are mixing it
look
into
out,
our
everyone.
shaker.
So
yep, so
just
this
all
is
of
the
it in there?
amethyst.
Okay.
It doesn't matter the order. Yep.
Okay.
Lime juice.
So this is very,
watermelon
people
juice.
can do this at home.
Totally easy to do at home. Everything's available in my store except for the watermelon juice, which is $3 in the refrigerated section.
Put it in a little shaker with some ice.
Yep.
Is this when I throw it up in the air and I
Yeah,
catch it?
I want to see that. I really do. And then you
come
just take off
crashing
the
down.
little top part.
While we make this, I wanted to ask, you know, sometimes people, if they want to drink a little less or they're on a sobriety journey, they're in between two hard places, right? People say stop drinking, and then when they do, they might feel shame about what it says about them if they go and get non-alcoholic stuff.
Totally.
How do you help people get over that, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have this this saying, it's keep no secrets, carry no shame. And I really believe that shame can't survive when it's talked about, right? And what Sober Social does is offer a place that you know that whoever's working there is an ear to listen. They can hear your story. They've probably been where you are. Shame can't survive in a space like that. And that really is the goal of this space, is to allow people to make better choices for themselves and not feel bad about it.
But your store is for everyone.
Everyone. You do not have to be sober to come in. Tons of people come in for tons of different reasons, right? You're on medicine. You want to drink less because it's Tuesday morning and you don't like parenting hungover, right? So you have your regular drink and you decide you want a second one. You replace it with a non-alcoholic spirit the second time.
Okay, we have to tell. Let's make a toast.
Let's have a cheers.
Cheers.
To you,
so
continued
much.
success with your store.
Congratulations.
And thanks to you for all you do. You're really paying it forward for a lot of people.
And this is delicious. Look at that.
That is, no, I'm not just saying it.
It's actually like really good though.
I'm not just saying it. That is delicious, and you're 100% right. You don't miss the alcohol at all.
No, you won't. So.
Imagine people who are tuning in right now seeing us just holding our, but like you said, non-alcoholic. Thank you very much.
Yes,
have a wonderful
thank you
holiday
guys.
weekend.
I will.
Thank you so much, Christy.
Thanks.
We're back right after this.
Thanks for joining us on Live at 4 today, everybody. Hope you have a happy and safe holiday weekend, and we hope we'll see you right back here on Monday. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.